Is cold approach good for introverts? Is daytime cold approach good for introverts? Is nighttime cold approach good for introverts? Is online better for introverts? Should introverts just stay at home? Should they just dangle a flag out of the window with an S? It means they're single. Yeah, if they're taken, there's a T instead. That's their system. I think this is a really interesting question, and I say that as somebody who is more towards the introverted end. There's been a lot of research done on introversion versus extraversion, and it's quite interesting. It's very interesting. An introvert, I'll just describe the two types. We all know someone who's very outgoing and very loud. Yeah, we would describe them as an extrovert. Often they are, but they might not be. Someone who's very withdrawn and just spends all their time solo, alone. Often we describe that as an introvert. Mostly it will be, but not always. They could be behaving like that for a different reason. Introversion versus extraversion. It basically relates to the ambient level of stimulus that you operate on as a baseline. So an extrovert has actually very low level of ambient stimulus in their central nervous system. Yeah, and so to raise that, they go out into the world and they push buttons in the world, and they get these responses, and there's a kind of that raises their state, that raises their energy. An introvert actually has a higher level of ambient stimulus. So for them, actually just to stay at home and read a book, or just to sit in front of a river like this, that's actually a good level of stimulus already. It's actually a decent level of stimulus. You put an introvert in a high stimulus environment, full of people, lots of conversations going on, or a nightclub, noisy music. You put an introvert in that environment, and after a while they're going to fatigue, because their senses and their nervous system is getting bombarded, and it's essentially more sensitive. It's actually taking in more information, and so afterwards they have to recover. They might need a week to recover if they're an introvert. An extrovert could go on a big night like that, and the next day they could do the same, and the next day they could do the same, and the next day they could do the same as well. Yeah, that's the scientific literature's definition of the difference between the two. It's ambient stimulus. Part of me wonders if there's more to it than that, actually. I think some of the fatigue socially comes from being fake. It's one reason I enjoy hanging around with Russian people and the Latin people, is I just find them to be very real cultures. Whereas I do find there's all this nice guy small talk in British culture, which maybe has a little bit of a place, but I just find it incredibly fatiguing to be around people like that. And I've got to put on the act for like 3 hours here. I don't give a shit about any of your bullshit, okay? Let's talk about something interesting. So crow up here. So I think that also plays in as well, how real you're able to be. The more real you are, the less fatiguing it is. And so, yeah, how does this all relate to cold approach? Basically, it's the same whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. The difference is an extrovert may need a little bit less recovery. An extrovert may need a little bit less recovery. But I think even extroverts get fatigued by daytime approach. But someone who is natural introvert, they have more introverted hobbies, reading, going for solitary walks, all that type of thing. They may take longer to recover. They may take 4 or 5 days to recover from a session. And all they should do is just take that time. And it's not really the case that you need to go out every single day. If you have the correct approach strategy, which I showed on a previous video, it's very straightforward. Approach is very easy, in fact. It's as difficult as we make it. So you don't need to be out every day. I mean, for an intensive training, it can be good, but you don't need it. If you just go out once a week, that's fine. You'll make great progress. Over 6 months, you'll be a new person. You'll be a new person. Same with nighttime as well. I'm fortunate in the sense that my day job it's quite demanding in some respects, but it doesn't involve a lot of people. I'm talking a lot, but there's not too many people. So, in a sense, I get to recover from my weekends during my work week, in a sense. So I'm quite lucky in that respect. If you're an introvert and you've got a high stimulus day job, my honest advice would be get in and out of game fairly quickly. You know, get in, get your girlfriend, and get out. And you need those weekends for recovery time. Most people want to do that anyway. This is what I'm realizing, most people actually want to do that anyway. What we were sold in the thousands, the noughties, that everyone wants to be a player and have a harem. Some people do. I actually think most people don't. And most people just want to have a girlfriend, a wife. It's fairly simple. So, yeah, and that fits really well, obviously, with the demanding professional career. So yeah, I'll finish on that. The idea that you're going to be playing the field forever, it's just not true. You are going to slow down. You're going to go through phases, but you are going to slow down as you think more about your legacy and your contribution to the world. That naturally should begin to take over. Even the most hardcore players, they slow down because they want something beyond the pleasure, beyond the wild nights. So, yeah, we'll leave it there today. I'm recovering from my session yesterday, guns, cold approach. It's quite a lot on my system, plus a very, very demanding week's work as well. So, I'm going to take a walk along the river. I may do a couple of casuals, maybe one casual approach or something. Just, at the moment, I'm in an experimental phase. With approach. So it's different for me. It's different for me because I'm making content on this. So it is different. I can't really take a weekend off, in my opinion. I've got to keep it going as I travel and traverse the world in my nomadic lifestyle. So we'll leave it there. Hopefully that's been an interesting discussion. Peace, love, Josefsky.